LD50 here, back with another video, and today we are going to start our playthrough of OP10 Deputy Salvador. This is the playthrough I've been really looking forward to doing and recording. We will get into a little bit about Salvador before we actually do any gameplay. Salvador, he can gunzerk, he can hold 2 guns. Now, the reason that Deputy Salvador is one of the most powerful builds in the game is through an ability that he has to hold 2 guns, but also the way that offhanding works. And offhanding means what you hold in your left hand. So we're going to be using the Orphan Maker, which is a very powerful shotgun. But it does self-damage when you hold it normally, and I can demonstrate that by firing off a couple of shots, and you'll see that the shield starts to go down. So we're damaging ourselves. But when Salvador gunzerks, he holds the Orphan Maker in his left hand. You don't get any of the damage, so you're able to use this very powerful shotgun without its negative effects. The other thing that makes this build incredibly powerful is from a skill called Money Shot. The last round fired from your magazine deals massively increased damage. Guns with small magazines receive a smaller bonus. The skill works with all weapon types. The last round in your magazine deals up to 400% damage, and the minimum magazine size for full bonus is 10. Well, actually, the minimum magazine size for full bonus is 12. That's a misprint. But when you are gunzerking, the Money Shot bonus is calculated on the magazine size of the weapon in your right hand. So the shotgun on the left, even though it has only 3 in the mag, will get the maximum Money Shot bonus. And because it's a 2-shot, that second shot there will be getting the full Money Shot bonus. So that's why this makes it an incredibly powerful build, because it's very reliable to trigger that Money Shot. We'll let our gunzerk go away and we'll have a look at the skills. So obviously gunzerking, that's the action skill we're going to use. Going down the gun loss tree, because the shotgun is a pull the trigger to fire, and it fires as fast as you can pull the trigger, there's no point putting any points in locked and loaded. So we'll put our points into quick draw, which will give us this extra critical hit damage and weapon swap speed. The next one we will go with is all I need is 1. Swapping weapons causes your next shot fired to deal additional damage. We'll wait for our gunzerk to come back, and I will show you the other trick that you do with Salvador. So on our loadout here we have our grog nozzle in the right hand that we're going to use for slagging and for generating health back, and also because it's got a large magazine size, it contributes to the Money Shot bonus. And then the other gun that we will occasionally swap to is the Win-Win Lady Fist, which gives 800 critical hit damage. So that critical hit damage will apply to the gun that you hold in your left hand. We'll just wait for this gunzerk to come back. Right, gunzerk's back. Now, the grog nozzle here has an inbuilt 200% crit damage bonus, but when we swap, we get the 800 crit damage on the left hand weapon. So that makes this left hand shot with the Money Shot bonus and the 800% crit damage incredibly powerful. So having swap speed is quite interesting. It makes it easy for us to swap mid battle, and also by swapping we get the bonus of all I need is one. Money shot itself, we've discussed that. Going further down here, down not out, you can gunzerk while fight for your life. Incredibly important, because all of the power comes from gunzerking. We need to be able to gunzerk in fight for our life in case we go down. That's a no-brainer. Lay waste, kill skill. Killing an enemy increases fire rate and critical hit damage. Well, the fire rate will apply to the grog nozzle, which obviously the more we can keep firing our grog nozzle, the more we can keep things slagged. But importantly, we're going to get this extra 50% critical hit damage on the shotgun. Keep it piping hot. While gunzerk is in the process of cooling down, you gain bonus gun damage, melee damage and grenade damage. The gun damage is what we're really after. Excuse me. 25% melee damage. We're not really doing melee, so we're not worried about that. And grenade damage, we're not really relying on our grenades to do the damage. We're really relying on the guns. But the interesting thing about keep it piping hot is it works with get some, which we'll discuss when we go down the next tree. And then no kill like overkill. This is absolutely fantastic. Killing an enemy grants bonus damage to your next shot equal to the amount of excess damage you deal to the enemy you just killed. It actually has a timer, so it's not just to your next shot. I think it runs for about 4 or 5 seconds, maybe a bit longer. But what that means is if we can gunzerk and say we have the Lady Fist equipped in the right hand and we've managed to get a kill, then all of the extra damage that we would have done over and above what was needed to kill that enemy is applied to our further shots. Going down the rampage tree. Filled to the brim. Increases your magazine size with all weapon types. Also increases your ammo carrying capacity. It does give extra 25% magazine size and 15% ammo carrying capacity. We're not too worried about the ammo carrying capacity because we will generate ammo while we're gunzerking, and it will be sufficient for this build. We won't need to be, needing this extra ammo capacity. But the magazine size is good. That will apply to anything in our right hand. So say we had only say 8 shots in our grog nozzle, then, or 9 shots, it wasn't a perfect grog nozzle like this one, then that would obviously increase the magazine size. And as you saw when we gunzerked, our magazine size wasn't 70, it was considerably more than that. It does apply to the left hand side, but because we've only got a magazine of 3, it's not enough to increase this past a magazine size of 3. So we still keep that reliable 2-shot action on our orphan maker. All in the reflexes. Increase reload speed and melee damage. Well, we're wanting to reload this shotgun as fast as possible, so that is important for this build. And last longer, increases the duration of gunzerk. Obviously, the longer we can keep in gunzerk, the more we're able to do damage. We don't take inconceivable. The reason we don't take inconceivable is we want to have reliable money shot. So we want every second shot to be the money shot. We don't want to have free shots. So if, for instance, we had a fully loaded magazine and we triggered inconceivable, we might we might possibly not get that money shot on the second shot reliably, and that's what we're relying on for this build to work. Yippee-ki-yay, killing an enemy while gunzerking increases the amount of time that you gunzerk. Well, obviously this is boosted by the comms, normally 3 seconds, and it's actually 6 seconds boosted by the comms. So every time that we kill an enemy, it increases our gunzerk time, which means that we can pretty much basically, as long as there are plenty of enemies around and we're killing them fast enough, we can stay in gunzerk all the time. Double your fun. Throwing a grenade while gunzerking causes you to throw 2 grenades. Basically, it doubles your amount of grenades. You get a free one. We're not really relying on grenades to do damage, but it is quite useful to have this skill. Now, get some. Shooting an enemy decreases your gunzerking cooldown. This effect can only occur once every 3 seconds, and it cools down by 3 seconds. Excuse me. What this does is, whilst we're in gunzerk, it takes time off of the duration of our cooldown. I can't demonstrate it here because there isn't anything for us to shoot. Oh, there might be a pile outside. Let's see if we can find a quick pile of something to shoot. I don't think we have done. Sadly, I don't think there are any piles here for us to shoot to... Oh yes, there's one there. Right, okay. So you can see that our cooldown is coming back. But I will wait until the gunzerk to come back completely, and then you can see what happens in gunzerk whilst we shoot something, and a pile of this will do. It'll count as an enemy. So what that's done is it's already started to cool us down. As you can see, the cooldown timer has moved up a little bit. This means that if we keep shooting things whilst in gunzerk, we can actually get to the point where we've completely cooled our action skill down before we've run out of gunzerk. So that means if we do run out of gunzerk, we can immediately reactivate it, and we don't have to wait for it to cool down again. Sadly, there aren't any other piles close for us to demonstrate that on again, but you get the idea, and you'll see from the playthrough how that works. And then we've taken keep firing while gunzerking. The longer you hold down the trigger, the faster your guns fire and the faster you reload. Again, that reload speed will apply to our shotgun in our left hand, and you know, keeping our gun firing all the time on the right, our grog nozzle, will mean that we're keeping things slagged and everything. So in the brawn tree, hard to kill, really not a skill that we need to take, but we do need to take insight. Reload speed, this is all about reload speed, this build, and the movement speed isn't a bad thing either. I'm the Juggernaut. Kill skill. Killing an enemy reduces all damage taken. Well, Salvador is very much in the enemy's face type playstyle, so we will be taking damage from a lot of sources. So this will help to reduce the damage. Asbestos reduces the duration of enemy status effects on you. Salvador is not immune, and if you were in a situation where there are no enemies around and you had a damage over time applied to you, particularly if it was corrosive is the longest lasting damage over time, excuse me, then this will help with that. We're going to get enough healing from our grog nozzle, so we don't need to take Ain't Got Time to Bleed. Fistful of Hurt, that's pretty good. It has a cooldown, but it does mean that we can punch enemies. That works very well with enemies with large shields, because you stagger them, the shield is out of the way, then you can shoot them. And I like to take Bus That Can't Slow Down for movement speed, because that means that between encounters you can get to the next set of enemies before the gunzerk runs out. So that is a skill tree that I use for Deputy Salvador. And the loadout, we're going to have a Surfeit grog nozzle. That is our main slagging weapon, and the grog nozzle, if you didn't know, has 64% health regeneration for all damage dealt. Rustler's Orphan Maker, it's important to have the Rustlers because it gives you more damage. It's a ×4 rather than a ×3, and we have it with a perfect Jacob's grip, which gives us 3 in the magazine size. And then a Win-Win Lady Fist in slag for our alternative means of gunzerking, which as I demonstrated, that will give the 800% critical hit damage bonus to the Orphan Maker should we need it. I quite like the evolution for a shield. It gives us plenty of elemental resistance, so that's basically reduces the damage that we take from elements, but we could also perhaps try an antagonist. I wouldn't probably take the Rough Rider with this build. I actually do like to have a shield with Deputy Salvador. Longbow Stormfront, that's not a bad grenade to have because we can chuck it out. It has quite a long duration, and whilst we have the grog nozzle in our hand, we will be getting health back for the damage dealt by the storm front. Deputy's badge, again, reload speed, another almost 50% reload speed. The shotgun damage is negligible. We're not really worried about the shotgun damage so much. It's more the reload speed. And for most encounters, we're going to be using the Gunzerker com, and that's because of the skills it boosts. It boosts all in the reflexes. It boosts last longer. It boosts Yippee-ki-yay. It boosts lay waste, and it boosts insight. So it's the best all-round com for Deputy Salvador. However, there are a couple of other options. We could have a Chaotic Evil Monk class, which would give us extra critical hit damage, but importantly, it boosts money shot. So when we put this com on, we are now getting 880% damage applied to our second shot from our shotgun. So this is the com that we would use for single bosses where we need to deal masses and masses of damage. But for most encounters and most of the playthrough, we'll probably use the Gunzerker com. I've got a few other bits and pieces here. I've got a toothpick and retainer for if we do go and fight Hadaraks. I've got a world burn if we want to do the Pimpernel rocket launcher glitch, which we may talk about if we come to do that, but we'll only probably do that for raid bosses. It's quite cheesy, and hopefully we won't use that too much. I've got a lead storm just because I've got a lead storm. I've got a couple of Tunguskas here to sell for big money because grenades are very expensive and Salvador doesn't really generate grenades. We do have an Unkempt Herald for if we want to do the Herald build, an Amigo Sincero for if we want to have a go at Pete and shoot his helmet off. We have a Derp here. That's the other good rocket launcher for using with the Pimpernel rocket launcher glitch. There's our Pimpernel that we would use in that instance. Excuse me. Explosive damage, which we would use if we were using the Derp to boost the explosive damage. And then we've got a pistol pistol relic, which is the Sheriff's badge, which we would use if we're doing the Unkempt Herald build. Tall fire rate and magazine size, we would use that with the Pimpernel rocket launcher glitch because this has only got a magazine of 6 and we'd need to boost that to 12 to get the full money shot bonus. We'll talk about that if and when we come to do it. Afterburner, just because there are going to be parts of this playthrough when we'll be in a vehicle and it will be advantageous to be able to go fast and for long. Hoarder, in case we do a Hoarder build, probably not going to do that, but we've got it just in case. Raider build, the reason I've got this one on is if you put the Raider on and then you put a low level Fabled Tortoise, as you can see the Raider com reduces shield capacity and the shield capacity is only 8,000 anyway. The trick with the Fabled Tortoise is whilst the shield is depleted, your movement speed is increased, so we can go a lot faster. So if we just need to get around quickly, we can use this shield. And the Raider com does actually boost money shot as well, but the other stats, the assault rifle accuracy, is not really needed, but it's just useful for getting around. Put our main comms back on, and then going down here with grenades, we do have the fastballs in fire, corrosive and explosive. We've got a longbow quasar, might come in useful. We've got a magic missile. This will regenerate grenades for us. We could also use it to slag if we wanted to, if we were just, you know, doing a different build, say. But it probably won't use it. Again, longbow slag transfusion if we needed it for health. Unlikely to need it. Longbow slag singularity. Singularity grenades are actually quite good with Sal. They're great for mobbing, because what they do is they bring all the enemies in together, and then you can kill them in all, you know, one go, which is nice. Also useful for pulling enemies if they get into places where you can't reach them. Shields retainer would go with a toothpick. That gives us the extra movement speed if in Haderach's lair. An antagonist, that's a nice beefy shield, and it also launches slag homing balls at attack, so it helps the slag. That's our fabled tortoise we just talked about, and the rough rider we would use if we were doing an inconceivable build with the Herald. So what we're going to do on this episode is we are only just really going to go as far as get to Liarsburg, probably clear out Liarsburg, and that's all we'll do. When you reset UVHM, you actually start in Liarsburg, but I did come all the way back to Claptrap's place because I thought it would be nice to do Knuckle Dragger on the way through. So we'll take a jaunt through. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put the Fabled Tortoise on and the Raidercom, just so it's much quicker for us to get to Knuckle Dragger. Now this is OP10, this is the most challenging content in the game, and you will see that this build trivialises it, absolutely trivialises it. There's Knuckle Dragger over there. Slag him. Oh, we missed on our second shot there. Where is he? And there we go, Knuckle Dragger. If I'd hit the shot perfectly, we would have probably done him in 2 shots. So there we go, Knuckle Dragger out of the way. Easy as that. Obviously, Knuckle Dragger is the first boss that you encounter in the game, so you know, not the most challenging of bosses. What we'll do is we'll shoot a few of these just to bring our cooldown back quicker. That might be the only one. Oh no, there's another one over there. And I'm not sure if we've got any on this side as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's one over there. So Gunzerk's back already. And we will proceed forward to Liarsburg and meet up with Hammerlock. And we'll call the first episode at that point. Right, everybody's favourite little robot, Claptrap.
Keep your wits about you, minion. This glacier's run by a bandit named Captain Flint. The jerk kept me as his torture plaything.
Attention, people of Pandora. Handsome Jack here, offering $1 million to whoever brings me the head of the Vault Hunter who just arrived in Liarsburg. Oh, and I'm still offering a reward for Roland, the mass-murdering leader of the Crimson Raiders. Good hunting, bandits!
Okay.
$1 million?
And
All right, boys,
let's see if we've got anything we can shoot down here just to help us get up. There we go.
And bring them to me now!
Minion, your master needs help.
Obviously you can see the little skull with the timer down there. That's giving us our cooldown. We're almost got our Gunzerk back.
spectacular! First Captain Flint's bandits attack, then Claptrap shows up. I must have been horrifyingly cruel to puppies in a previous life to deserve this kind of treatment. I say, Vault Hunter, could you kill Flint's men for me?
I believe we'll be able to do that. So I'm going to go back and put on the Evolution and the Gunzerker Com, because now we're into a proper situation.
Got a proposition for you, Vault Hunter. You give up, we'll just shoot you in the head. It'll be quick.
Oh, I'm probably killed by my own grenade
A
there.
hell of a lot less painful than what Handsome Jack will do to you.
Yo!
What is wrong with you boys? Just kill that slag leg so we can get our reward.
Oh no! Look!
Okay, we've cleared out Liarsburg.
This ain't over, Grinder.
Hey, Hammerlock! Since my minion just saved your town, you want to do your bestie Claptrap a favor and repair my eye?
Yes, I suppose I am in your debt now, aren't I? Come to my shack and I shall restore Claptrap's sight. First, I shall shut off the electrical fence for you. Please stay back, Vault Hunter. Let Claptrap go first.
I knew Hammerlock would come around eventually. Me and him are like two peas in a pod. Two bullets in a bag.
Apologies, but when Claptrap speaks, I feel my brain cells committing suicide one by one. I shall be out directly.
A pleasure to meet you, Vault Hunter. I am Sir Hammerlock. At your service.
Didn't need to kill them, but I just thought I'd demonstrate the build a little bit more.
Like you? Now, if you could hand me the robot's eye, please.
And as you can see, we have our guns back already. So if there were more enemies around, we'd be able to trigger it straight away.
That should do it.
Ha ha! I am alive!
Oh dear, he's talking again.
Minion! Now I've got my eyesight back! And you're far uglier than I remembered. Time to join up with the Crimson Raiders and Sanctuary. This glacier's full of nothing but murderers or jerkbags, like that Hammerlock dude.
I'm standing right here, dude. Now that Liarsburg is cleared, I might as well turn on the main power. This town's full of things that may be of use to a go-getting slayer of men like yourself.
Minion, roll out!
I see our
It is my
fearless little Jack is
opinion
looking for you. Sure,
that
well, always
Borderlands
keep
2
spouts
has
driven
the
about
best story and the best writing of the franchise by a wide margin.
Ah, I'm spouting exposition again, aren't I? Apologies! Ah, there you are. Come on, work, curse you!
Right, okie dokie, we'll turn this in here.
Broken. The resistance must have disconnected it before they left the sanctuary. I'd planned to post some
And
bombs.
when we come back, we'll proceed
well,
with
just
Chapter
speak to
3,
me
best minion ever. So, there we go. This is going to be a really fun playthrough for me. I do hope that you're going to enjoy it as well if you're watching. And if you have enjoyed the content, please leave me a like and consider subscribing to the channel. It'll certainly motivate me to finish this series off. Anyway, we're going to call that playthrough for today. This has been episode 1 of Deputy Salvador playing OP10 Borderlands 2. I've been LD50, you've been lovely, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.